I mean, that'd be legendary if he just repeated "fuck you" every 3 minutes. Okay, I'm trying a new setting on my mic. Let's see if it works. Tell me if you notice like the crackling or popping or you know. Tell me if it's less today. Four leagues a year stopped happening when I started developing PoE 2. There's been 2 games for like 6 years, dude. Well, I don't know if it's as easy as hiring new people for them because from everything I've heard, it fucking sucks to own a business in New Zealand. So,
You've got mail.
Trust in Triple G, guys, it's just EA.
thanks for that 2-year reset, Mordrain. Okay, let's see.
Hey guys, let's talk about PoE 1. Now when we announced PoE 2, we promised that we would continue to create PoE 1 expansions, and we do intend to keep that promise, but it's certainly been a lot harder to deliver on it than what we expected. Now the trouble really started after Settlers of Calgar in July last year. The ideal time to have released 326 would have been late October, before the originally scheduled release of PoE 2's early access. But we just didn't think we could do it. It was too close to the huge circus that was the organisation around PoE 2's launch. But we also didn't want to immediately launch it right after PoE 2 either, so that kind of ruled out December. So then we're thinking, okay, we can't really have a launch in January due to Christmas, so we're really going to have to do it in February. And this wasn't great. It would mean 7 months with no leagues. But we really didn't think it was possible to do it any earlier than that. And we didn't really announce this exactly, but it was certainly something that we had said to quite a few people over time, so the community became generally aware that that was our plan. The issue is this. PoE 2's endgame needed a lot of work. Having the guys on the PoE 1 team help out for 3 months on PoE 2, given that 326 was 7 months away, seemed like a no-brainer, and man did PoE 2 need it. The problem is we got to the middle of October, and PoE 2's launch was imminent, and I'll tell you what, taking people off PoE 2 at that point was just impossible. The endgame was not in a shippable state. But you know what? We could still do it. If the PoE 1 team just kept helping until PoE 2 shipped in late November, we could still do it. Maybe the scope would need to decrease a little bit, but mid-February was still possible. We just needed to ship this damn game first, get it out of the way. We literally couldn't think about anything else until it was done, but we still had time. The problem is, we were fooling ourselves. PoE 2 was delayed 3 weeks, making the problem even worse. And then after the game was released, well, of course we had to immediately deal with all the problems. How could we think about making a PoE 1 expansion when we still have hundreds of thousands of people who are having bad experiences in PoE 2? There are crashes, there are severe in-game balance problems. How could I justify taking some of the most experienced developers we have off PoE 2 when it's on fire? Now after the Christmas break, we had to really admit something to ourselves. The most urgent priority was getting PoE 2 to a point where it didn't have major issues. And it's hard to even think about what PoE 1 needs when PoE 2 has really obvious problems that need fixing. We needed to get it to the point of stability and balance, and to fix the most...
I haven't seen this yet, so I don't know if... I've PoE what I mean PoE 2 is pretty far from being not on fire.
Severe deficiencies that PoE 2 has before we can take our eyes off it. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we can't really work on PoE 1 3.26 until PoE 2 0.2.0 has shipped. And then
I don't think 0.2.0 is gonna be enough to fix the game. It's gonna need like to be 1.0. The game is PoE 2 like it's good, but there's so many problems.
being honest, we probably need to support that for a couple of weeks after that as well. Now, in the meantime, we are going to get a bunch of pre-production done on 3.26 with whatever people who are not needed to fix issues with PoE 2. And once 0.2.0 is sorted, I promise we will devote as many resources as are needed from our company to get 3.26 done as soon as possible. Unfortunately, I just can't promise a date right now. Now, I'm really sorry for how this went down. Honestly, I should have predicted the fact that taking the PoE 1 team off PoE 1 would lead to this outcome, and I probably should have resisted doing it.
Well, I don't know about resisted doing it. I think I don't know. I think they like should have like in retrospect, it's kind of obvious that PoE 1 is getting put on the back burner for a while. At least like once PoE 2 actually released, it's kind of obvious that PoE 1 is going to be put on the back burner because PoE 2 like exploded in player count and what else? And then the game in PoE 2 even it exploded in player count and it's like nowhere anything close to finished. So I mean like in retrospect, hardly even retrospect, but more like once the game actually came out, it was pretty obvious PoE 1's pushback.
But at every stage, I just kept thinking, we still have time, and then we didn't have time anymore. Now, we still have a lot to learn about how to run two games simultaneously. We were overconfident. We still need to work out how to structure our studio to make this possible. But we do have a solid plan for what we want to do with 3.26. Obviously, I can't talk about it yet, but I'm hoping you guys are going to love it. I really want to thank you guys for all your support over the years.
See you guys in
do deserve better than
2027.
this, and we will get 3.26 out as fast as we can.
Okay, here's the prediction. Will Settlers League be longer than Legacy? Oh, I mean, actually, it's probably almost... How long was Legacy? Wait, Legacy was only 5 months? Oh. Okay, definitely Settlers is gonna be longer. I thought Legacy League was like 7 months or something. It was like... It wasn't even 5, it was like... almost 5. I don't know. Why don't they? I've got a great idea. They ask Tencent, hey, can you loan us one of your employees for like a week? And then the Tencent guy runs an event in PoE 1 because China gets 1 million events that are way better than PoE 1 global events. How about that? I mean, maybe it's like bad business decision or something. I don't know. I don't know why they're so opposed to events. Rather, opposed to good events. They only make bad events. Some are okay, but like, I don't know. But I don't know. Business wise, yeah, it makes no sense to do PoE 1 League. Should I react to all the reactions of all the other reactions? Yeah, it's not lunchtime yet though. Who's watched the reactions? Who is the most doomer about this? You know who is probably the most doomer? Um, there's this one guy who always has like 85 paragraphs written on why PoE 1 sucks, and then he logs in again. Let's see. Nope. Doesn't seem like he has a video. No, not Project PT. The guy who does collects tries to collect every uniqueness as like Lighty or something. Not Ben, but Lighty. Who's the most doomer? Here we go. 44 minutes, dude. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. 44 minutes.
Welcome back, you filthy exiles. So, a lot of stuff has happened and some on the yet, right?
You wanna see something funny? Okay.
Because to One League will be delayed indefinitely. Now, going into the video,
Yeah, Lighty always posts like 85,000 word essays. I'm not reading it. If he had made a video,
I
I would
quickly
maybe
want
would
to
have
say
watched
something
it.
that a lot of PoE 1 players,
Like, let's see. This guy, like every league, he has just gigantic essays about why he thinks the game sucks. And then he logs in again. I mean, I'm probably being a little hyperbolic, but it's the same shit every year.
didn't want to say because they know how it comes across. But PavExile 1 is currently the best RPG of all time, and it will be for the probably foreseeable future until PoE 2 fixes a lot of its core issues. The reason a lot of people don't want to say this is because we know how it comes across. It comes across as elitist. It's like, oh, we just want another PoE 1. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there's a reason why this game has such a dedicated fan base that basically kickstarted PoE 2. Now, I am not going to claim like I know how it is to make two games simultaneously. It must be an absolute like shit show over there because they've never really done it before. So I have empathy. On the other hand, I will say that I'm very disheartened with the disregard towards PavExile 1 to basically learn that all of the people from PavExile 1 kind of have been dragged over to Path of Exile 2. I'm honestly shocked how there isn't at least like an absolute skeleton crew working on Path of Exile 1 behind the scenes. I'm not sure if kind of the philosophy of Grinding Gear Games right now is nobody wants to work on it when there's the new shiny thing. All I can...
I mean, I kind of agree with that. I hate when people word it like they're entitled to something from GGG, but like, there's been many things in PoE that's just like completely designed by one person. I'm sure they could put one person on PoE 1 to do something. One employee. Like, the entire Ruthless mode was made, majority of it was made by one employee. Come on, they could stick one intern on PoE 1.
Can tell you is that this is baffling to me. This is the game that has made them big.
I mean, even if they have people on it, like, what I'm saying is, I don't know if they, I mean, we obviously we don't know the internals, maybe, we don't know specifics, but like, they can put something out.
Big, right? Like, this is the game, this is the reason why they're so beloved. This is the reason what, like, look at this release schedule right here. This is an incredible release schedule that I didn't thought would ever be broken. And obviously there were like certain months, like we used to complain about weeks of delay, right? And now we have this here. We have 6 months and now indefinite delay. And I just don't know what to say. Now for people who are like, oh, I'm happy they devote everything to Path of Exile 2 because fuck Path of Exile 1. I've never played that game. I never liked that game, right? Or I never got into it. New play experience sucks. I know. I get it. Like, there's a ton of good things about PoE 2. What you have to understand is they've been making Path of Exile 1 already with a very small crew over the last few years. It's not like it takes that many people. They have said something like 20. I know there was like this rumor about 8, but it was kind of like 20 to 30 as far as I remember back. That literally just kept Path of Exile 1 going for the last, I don't know, 4 or so years. So I don't think it is crazy to think that you would kind of keep that rolling while everybody else works on this. Now, I don't know how the inner dynamics are. I'm assuming there's like a few people they have to have on Path of Exile 1, like senior designers.
Yeah, I mean, like, even like, dude, like, they had Mark go whip something up for Gauntlet, and I'm assuming not very long time span. They could do something. They could do something. I don't know. They sandbag so hard on, like, events and stuff. I don't know why. They sandbag so hard.
That are really necessary towards each of them. But I'm just honestly really disheartened by the fact that there has been nothing done. Now, I want to quickly point out a sentence that I found pretty interesting from Jonathan here. I'm just going to play it.
How could we think about making a PoE 1 expansion? We still have hundreds of thousands of people who are having bad experiences in PoE 2. There are crashes, there are severe in-game balance problems. How could I justify taking some of the most experienced developers we have off PoE 2 when it's on fire?
Now, obviously, I understand the sentiment. On the other hand, my answer would be in order to continue the legacy that you've built for the last decade or so. That would be my answer. And it does have, there have to be sacrifices to be made. I think that this is actually, I know a lot of you guys will point out, well, PoE 2 is going to be the future cash cow. I understand that. Although, don't underestimate how much money Path of Exile 1 leagues make. I just want to say that because we looked at the revenue numbers the other day.
Who is he talking to?
Be
they obviously know how much money they make.
Like, even compared to how many early access keys they sold. But in general, like, this is just goodwill towards people that have supported you for over the last decade. My issue with that statement is if it's already this bad in early access, which doesn't have to adhere to any release schedule, well, we can basically kiss Path of Exile 1 goodbye once the...
How do you come to that conclusion? How do you possibly come to that conclusion? When we know they make leagues with they make leagues with very small teams of people. Once PoE 2 is like set up properly, how do you like, because like in PoE 1 they're not reinventing the wheel. The game exists already. PoE 2 basically doesn't exist. How do you possibly come to the conclusion that when PoE 2 is more finished, it'll sap even more resources from PoE 1?
The release schedule comes around, I guess, because I guess we're always gonna swap if there's like something on fire in PoE 2.
Okay, guys, what do you think is like? Yeah, what do you guys think is harder, making an entirely new game or making new content for a game that already has a solid foundation? What do you think is the harder thing to do? I mean, I feel like the answer is pretty obvious to me.
We're just gonna take all the PoE 1 players, all the PoE 1 devs, have no devs left working on the game. We're just gonna, like, I don't know, swap.
You've got
and
mail.
whenever PoE 1 needs a league, we're gonna sprinkle, like,
Thanks for the prime Bodom and Thornium.
I don't know, 5 devs over there. I don't want to be too harsh on this though, because Jonathan did admit to these, and he did admit that these are like internal problems. So I won't give too much. And also, I don't fucking know. What the fuck would I know? But the next thing I'm kind of sad about is the missed opportunity here. Honestly, that missed opportunity for me is that PoE 2 players could have tried out PowerXL 1, and the reason I'm saying this is because PowerXL 2 is the best tutorial for PowerXL 1. Because the game actually has all these things that PoE 1 could have had as well that they just ignored for whatever reason. Like, for example,
Prime
tooltips,
John.
right? A more clear campaign, learning by doing. If you got to maps in PoE 2, you can play PoE 1. You're gonna be okay. Like, you understand, like,
I feel like it's much easier to fuck up your build in PoE 1.
there's so many things that are copied over from PoE 1 that you're going to enjoy the game. And there's a good chance you're going to enjoy the game. Now, this would have even been more valuable because you could have increased the quality of feedback. People could have seen where some of the PoE 1 players are coming from, right? They could have given their own take on it. Maybe something that isn't, like, for example, I'm obviously nostalgic about the game. I have a lot of, like, biases, right? I'm, like, in my bubble. But people who have a fresh experience of PoE 1 could have kind of discerned what is actually valuable, maybe even for PoE 2, and what isn't. So I just don't really understand why this wasn't really a thing. I actually thought they would put out a low-effort 3.26 to keep people at bay, to kind of overlap, and then give them some breathing room for PowerXL 2. But I guess the numbers just speak for themselves, and yeah, this is their priority for now. Now, if there was anything good coming out of this video, in my opinion, it is the fact that Jonathan clearly said just how bad he thinks endgame is, which I totally agree with. I think endgame in PowerXL 2 currently, meaning endgame activities, is it's really, really bad, right? Like, it is, I'm falling asleep while doing maps. There's no rush whatsoever that you would gain in other games like PoE 1, for example. Overall, I will say I think this is a really good response to what was not really a good topic to begin with. Like, you can't really make this video sound good, but I think Jonathan did a good job. The issue is I'm just baffled by the utter disregard that GGG is giving to the game that has made them, and that is still to this day regarded as the best RPG of all time. That is like the spiritual successor of Diablo 2. That has performed this well for over a decade, and to hear that they can just like decide to have 0 people working on it for I don't know how many months is just this quickly, right after PoE 2. Like, PoE 2 is only in early access. Like, it's only gonna get worse from here.
How?
It's just baffling to me, and honestly, yeah, I think disheartening just kind of fits. Like, we've already been getting scraps over the last few leaks, basically just like leaks cobbled together with assets from PoE 2. We still have Elder Exarch after all these years, right? It is very clear where their priorities lie, so I'm not going to like pretend like that's not a thing. But yeah, now I don't know what to expect anymore. Stations are only getting bigger and bigger the longer we wait, but we know they haven't been working on anything, so 3.26 is not going to be especially big or anything like that. So yeah, I'm at this point assuming that PowerXL 1 is going to go into, like, I don't know, slumber mode. We're gonna get some like half-assed leaks probably. I don't know, like, GG makes really good leaks. Half-assed is still really good, right? Don't get me wrong. But
I disagree.
yeah, I'm just a little bit surprised is all. And
Wanjo's ass. don't know, dude. It just doesn't comprehend, like, it's just not compatible in my brain to think that once PoE 2 is actually finished, PoE 1's gonna get less support. I don't know how you possibly come to that conclusion. I feel like, I don't know. Everybody's just so negative about everything. To the point where it doesn't fucking make sense. Any other good ones? Oh, dude, I want to see Connor have a meltdown. I don't understand why no, listen to what I say. That's not what I said. I want to find the most doomer one.
Hi everyone, it's
I mean, Rax isn't gonna be doomer. Rax is never doomer. He's like, he looks at a D4 reveal and he's like, yeah, this is a recycled league, no creativity. One of the lead designers is quitting. The game's probably like half AI made at this point. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Drax. Yesterday we had some bad
That's every Rax video.
news for Diablo 4 in that Adam Jackson has left Blizzard. Well, when it rains, it pours. How about we have some
Okay, like, why are people upset about Adam Jackson leaving Blizzard? Like, what the fuck did he do for Diablo 4, man?
more bad news?
He designed the two branch trees. Like, what was he? He was like the lead class designer or something. What did he do? Design the 2 branches on your skill tree you can go? He's the reason the game is getting better? Oh. I mean, maybe. But, I don't know. It's very slow, right? I mean, maybe he didn't have much control, I guess. He was like it was Adam Jackson fighting the MBAs, and it was like a full-out brawl in the office or something. I don't know. I don't know him, I'm just guessing.
For PoE 1 today. Jonathan Rogers made an announcement that essentially said that they had pulled a bunch of PoE 1 resources to help with PoE 2. They wanted to have the PoE 1 league in February, and now it's not going to happen. So they need the next major patch to come out for PoE 2, and then they will need several weeks to make sure that it works, and then the people can go back and finish the PoE 1 league and release it with no definitive date. So that's the news. A couple comments on this. I will give Grinding Gear Games credit in their transparency. I will give them credit in that
maybe he is going to be Doomer. Look at him. He's hiding his face.
it's far better to release something that
He's got the hoodie down.
Is done well and done right, and to delay it than to just rush it out the door. And I guess it makes sense with PoE 2 being the new thing that they needed extra resources. They have admitted themselves that they overestimated their abilities and that they're going to allocate it better going forward, and that they are going to give PoE the regular updates, PoE 1 I mean, the PoE 1 updates that they had promised all of their fans. One thing that I don't know what the right word is, caution or say to Grinding Gear Games, and I would lump myself in this group of people. A lot of people think PoE 1 is one of the best ARPGs ever made. And I've played quite a bit of PoE 2. I have almost 600 hours in the game, and it came out less than 2 months ago. That just shows you what a degenerate loser I am. So I've played a healthy amount of both games, and they feel different to me, and they play differently, which is, in some ways, I think is actually a good thing for Grinding Gear Games. But people really look forward to these leagues, and it's what Grinding Gear Games was built on. And that promise is really important to players. So I personally am okay with the delay. Not a big deal. It's kind of a shitty time to be an ARPG player. The PoE 2 launch in December was exciting, but then
Yeah, the golden. I mean, my prediction of the golden age of ARPGs was short lived. It was like we hit. Here we have 2024, and we're like, here it's a graph, right? We're like up here, and then we hit 2025, and it like instantly went like this. It didn't last very long. My prediction of an ARPG golden age did not last very long.
the Diablo 4 with no core updates, and then the PoE 2 major patch is still not out, and now PoE 1 is delayed. You want to know what else this means? If it's not coming out in mid-February and they need to release a major patch, and then they need to wait a couple more weeks, and then the PoE 1 League is coming out, that means that it's going to be coming out maybe in April or early May. And I believe that's when Last Epoch was going to have their mega patch they've been working on for almost a year.
Surely Last Epoch will release this patch on time.
That's not good for Last Epoch. They've been trying to get out of
They're going to delay it again.
Diablo and Path of Exile's way as much as they could. Now it looks like they're going to run straight into potentially PoE 1. That's not good for EHG either. So we'll see if they are going to pivot based upon what the Path of Exile 1 dates are. All I'm trying to say here is PoE 1 is important to a lot of people. I think it's one of the best ARPGs ever. I really hope it gets the updates that Grinding Gear Games has promised and the attention, because there is a chance when it's all said and done, when PoE 2 is at full power and fully out, that PoE 1 may still be the better game. Ben, one of the best players ever, just released kind of a doom and gloom video about how he doesn't see PoE 2 ever being better than Path of Exile 1. But everyone has their own opinion. I don't think it's doom and gloom, but I also agree with a lot of the points that he made, that PoE 2, it has a ways to go. Anyway, more bad news here, more delays, but I give them credit, and we'll see what happens, and we keep blasting anyway. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to play D4, especially when there's some core content coming out. I'm still going to play both of the Path of Exiles. We'll probably play Last Epoch when it comes out. Maybe No Rest of the Wicked will have an update. But when it rains, it pours, guys. More bad news. Yikes. Hi, everyone. It's Rax.
Okay, Path of Exile
Somebody start crying.
1, we got some new news here. Path of Exile 2 in early access. Our players have been asking about the future of Path of Exile 1 and the timeline for its next expansion. In this video, game director Jonathan...
We promised that we would continue Halga, host just even needs. Love it.
The answer. There you go. I mean, you wanted to know what was going on there. I mean, they are prioritizing PoE 2 on it. Something like, what do you guys think, a minimum 3 months or something? Like, it's PoE 1.
Somebody's got to be mad. MBX is a huge PoE 1 blaster. He's going to be pissed for sure.
Promised that we would announce last year.
Like 4 to 5. Normal. What are we getting in from here, right? Because think about it. PoE 1 should have been at late October, would be the normal cycle. Normal cycle in GDG measurements is, it used to be 3-month cycles. It's more like 4 to 5 month cycle based on the last couple of years, which is not really the biggest issue. But thing here is, then they plan the early access in November, so they cannot release PoE 1 in October, right? Then the PoE 2 early access got delayed to December, so they forgot to, or if they would knew that up front, they could still have released the 326 in October, right? Which didn't happen. So every time PoE 2 got delayed, PoE 1 got even more delayed, right? And it was a plan to release it in PoE 2 early access finally in December, so we could technically have a league maybe in January or February. Reason why I'm saying that is when they're not going to overlap PoE 1 and PoE 2, right? So there's going to be what they initially said at some point, it's probably a couple years ago, but still they said what they want to do is having a 3-month cycle of PoE 2, a 3-month cycle of PoE 1, but they want to schedule it the way that if PoE 2 starts after 2 months, you have PoE 1 start, and kind of after 1 month of PoE 1, there's the next PoE 2 league coming, right? So it's just like a rinse and repeats. And basically, that just means if they're going to release PoE 2, there's going to be at least a 2-month time frame where there's not going to be any Path of Exile 1, so people can focus on PoE 2 and actually play the game, right? And when they said, hey, early access in December, that was right, and skill gems and weapon types. means that PoE 1 probably is going to be in May, you know, and the
Having the
PoE for the last years and know what is happening with the GGG cycles, basically knew what's up. And I also said it, that this is never going to happen. When they said, hey, 6 months, up to 12 months for PoE 2 full launch, and then we play early access, and then, you know, like, per character, and obviously, and everything in between.
We're give me somebody mad. All right, let's check this guy.
Right.
44 minutes. He's got to be mad.
I'm someone who loves Path of Exile. Okay, so this is the issue. Like, is Path of Exile 1 a dead game? I don't think it is yet. And I emphasize on the yet, right? And I'm someone who loves Path of Exile 1. Like, I've been around that game for the best part of, 11 to 12 years. I've put a lot of money into it over the years. And, you know, for me, losing that game is almost like an emotional, you know, personal sort of thing, because when I think of like my best times of chilling out and having fun and, you know, logging on to like the global Discord for Path of Exile, even just making content for this channel, Path of Exile 1 has been a source of a great amount of enjoyment and joy for me. And to see this sort of play out, and this is just coming at it from a Path of Exile 1's player, Path of Exile 1 player's perspective, sorry, I feel sort of ripped off in the scenario.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And this is me just sort of expressing my feelings around the situation. Now, what I can see happening is there is a clear priority for Path of Exile 2. And again, like I said earlier, I can't like knock that down and say and discredit that. Like, if I were a business, I would make the same decision, right? And I say that like a business is a separate legal entity, so they operate as their own autonomous body or like a person. But if I was running GGG, I would make the same decision that they're making right now, right? They've got a lot of money invested.
Is this Elon
in the
gameplay?
Path of Exile 2, millions of dollars, in fact, and then you can see that in their balance sheet and their P&L based on their annual reports that they release. But basically, like, it's a good business decision. But there's this concept in business called goodwill, and what they've really done is alienate a number of players. Now, the problem with that is, like, we look at like the peaks for Path of Exile 1 leagues, the like pinnacle of the number of players is like 227,000.
Goodwill doesn't fucking exist. Goodwill is not that is not a concept in games anymore. Goodwill is not a concept in games. I don't know when it like stops ceasing, but like Blizzard still has done nothing for goodwill in the last decade. And there is still people gurgling the remnants of Bobby Kodak's balls because of Diablo 2, which not a single person at Blizzard had anything to do with. And you still have people defending Blizzard. I mean, less so now, but goodwill lasts for like decades and upon decades. Like, it's not really a thing. It's like you do one good thing and people will suck your nuts for the next 50,000 years.
Something like that would be impacted by this decision. Overall, that's like total player numbers, including
like, or rather, goodwill exists. It just doesn't really dissipate. So, I mean, yeah, okay. It exists, but it doesn't go away. Because people love buying terrible products. Which is not what's happening with people. Well, actually, I mean, with people. A little, man. Okay. People, this is in general. People love buying terrible things. Like D4 releases a $40 class that is 10 times better than, or a million times better than everything else in the game, and people are like, yeah, that's awesome, I want more of this, Blizzard. And then if you say it's bad or stupid, from, like, you just get pounced on. Not anymore since PoE 2, so I mean, I guess it does dissipate eventually. I don't know, you need to get like a brick to the head or something. Or the equivalent of a brick to the head, because like, this shit does not go away. You released one good game 20 years ago, and people are gargling your nuts for 20 years.
including new players and stuff like that. over the years. That's like when Steam peaked. Now, like that's the exposure risk of what this decision has on the player base, right? But we're talking about like
Thanks
another
for the
like maybe
prime.
1.4 million players, 1.2 million players that logged in for Path of Exile 2 that really don't care about what happens to Path of Exile 1. And that's the other side of things. So GGG, from a business sense, will be sitting back going, well, PoE 1, like, it's our legacy product. We said we would keep up with it, but we've also made commitments to all these new players that have come in. And if we don't make nice with those commitments, guess what? We're going to lose that new player base and all that new money and income that's coming in with that. So we're going to have to make a hard call here, and we're going to have to allocate our resources to Path of Exile 2 to get that out the door and make sure that's a lot better than what it shipped as. That's basically what I estimate is the decision that they're making at this stage. Now, there are a number of other problems with Path of Exile 2, and I guess we'll talk about that when we get into the segment around Ben's video, which is, how did the game even get through like the alpha testing and QA to launch as it did? Like, the campaign's pretty good. That's, you know, that's I think unanimously the agreed position for most people, but the end game is quite horrific right now.
Well,
it's just
pulling a
not
Fortnite
where
meme.
it needs to be. It's got a lot of problems. And again, Ben touches on all these issues, and we'll talk about that very shortly. But that's basically some of the issues that I see with things right now. So they're stuck in a position where they have to allocate resources to Path of Exile 2 from Path of Exile 1. We call that cannibalization. And guess what? Path of Exile 1 isn't really going to develop forward. Now, a number of these issues stem from what I believe to be really poor management as well. Like, so over it, there's an old concept of over promise, under deliver, right? So basically, what I can see here is they came out with all these grandiose claims. They could do this, they could do that, they could do this, and they've fallen short for where they should have ended up and what they should have
Mr.
delivered by
Gucci.
this point, and or they've run into a lot of complications that they didn't expect to happen. From my perspective in running projects, this is just like a total lack of scoping. So one of the problems I see, and I put an X post up earlier today, is one of the biggest.
I don't know. You've seen one PoE crying Twitch chat. You've seen them all.
Issues with games companies is they tend to put developers who are artistic by nature in charge of a process that is a functional operational process. So, and this isn't hanging slack at Jonathan and how he manages things or whatnot, but quite frankly, what I can see here is he's a great game dev, but his organizational skills to actually deliver on a scheduled timeline probably aren't as good as what someone of an operations management background is going to have. If I was going to recommend something for GGG to do right now, what they should really do is restructure their entire approach and project
Hire more MBAs.
delivery team, and they should really look to try and put somebody in the helm position that isn't making decisions about the direction of the game. You would leave Jonathan to do that, but you would put someone in who can manage the timelines and deadlines and keep everyone true to those deadlines, and also allocate the resources in between. There's other things that need to happen. So essentially, they made a lot of money from that EA launch. Like, they had $500 packs, and I would say they made way more money than what they would assume they would have initially made. Now, there's the upkeep cost and all that they're going to pay that anyway. So that's neither here nor there. That's sunk before you even get into the conversation of capitalization of the cost. So the next problem is, if they're not upskilling their resourcing right now, or upscaling their resourcing, sorry, then it's a foolhardy effort of cannibalizing devs between production teams. What I would actually be doing is pulling in a lot of new devs into the Path of Exile 2 teams, and then putting back a few of the experienced devs of Path of Exile 1 to be able to get both products out. But it also looks like they're sort of in a rush under a lot of duress from the community right now, and they don't quite know how to collect themselves after a bit of negative backlash and basically course correct and get back on track with the timelines that they need to deliver on. And this is what's causing further delays. This is what's causing further issues. Why did this happen though? And cardinal rule number one in project delivery is, at all times, avoid at best scope creep. So one of the biggest issues that I noticed over the years, and Ben touches on this in his video as well, we'll talk about this briefly. When they first announced or showed the initial footage for Path of Exile 1, it was supposed to be Path of Exile 2. It was better in that form than what it does, less the clicky sort of stuff and whatever. And a lot of people will agree, whether you like what I'm saying or not, that it does play better on console to an element of it, right? So the controller is definitely much more tuned than mouse controls right now. There are entire skills like, crossbow skills and stuff that are a nightmare to use on the keyboard and mouse right now, unless you use WASD. So basically what I can see here is they just kept adding stuff to it over time, adding more and more and more. We covered a lot of this in the videos, last minute changes to the flasking system and shifting it to the trinket system and everything else in between. And like changing that there's no gem colorings, changing all these little things, right? At the time, we didn't think too much about it. And what I can actually see now is really like they just kept bolting on the next feature and the next feature and the next feature without thinking about where that sort of fell based on the original game and based on what they were doing with the new game. And a comment that Ben made, which I actually think was quite good in between, like his commentary's a bit gruff, right? It doesn't seem like he's too happy. But basically what I see between the lines there is they really tried to make Path of Exile 2 different to Path of Exile 1, not necessarily because it needed to be different, but because they wanted it to be different. And was that a good decision? I'm not sure. Like, people do like Path of Exile 2 in the droves, but is that hype? Is it actually because it's as good a game as what it's sort of pitched as? I can tell you now that there's absolutely crazy good ARPGs. Last Epoch is a great example of a fantastic RPG, right?
Alright, I've heard enough. There's gotta be more filters today. Who is mad? Is Ziz mad? This was from like yesterday. Where's all the content to steal? Well, that might be it. That might be it for the React segment. Unless someone's got something. Am I hate watching people I disagree with? No, I don't have brain damage. I don't understand the concept of hate watching. But I like seeing people that are upset. But I don't hate watching it, I like watching it. Oh shit. Well, I understand the concept of hate watching. I think if you do hate watch, you have mental problems. Okay. The Shinshin has to be pissed. This guy has gotta be pissed. If he's not screaming, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Hey everybody, today we'll be answering the question of why did Path of Exile 1's development completely cease? So Path of Exile 1 in a video recent playthrough this, and I'm asking why? Why did Path of Exile 1 have its development cease? So to start this video, I'm going to do an I was right moment. Jonathan, this guy over here, in a very long discussion piece they had earlier, he said a comment that was a giant red flag to me. Those of you guys who've been watching me for a while, some people wants to put
start yelling,
even
start screaming,
like here's Path of
scream,
was
cry. Oh, Iceman, that's gotta be good. He's gotta have something good. Not yet. Maybe soon. Maybe soon. Well, I could read Reddit posts. The absolute bottom tier, bottom of the barrel, dog shit, lazy content. You want to see another reason why Steam reviews and community ratings are terrible? This is why you can't look at Steam reviews. Alright. It's time to go delving, let's see. Delving in shit. You're not ready. I don't want to log into the game. Get ready. Or I could read that really long Twitter post. Hey, thanks for the 44-year resub, Morbin. Alright, here we go. Get ready for this. Get ready for a wall of text. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Wait. The year is 2012. It was the Wild West of RPGs, and PoE was the crazy cowboy on the forefront taking all the risks. With D2 fresh in their minds, 4 dudes from Auckland create a math. I feel like, is this gonna be ChatGPT? Oh, make an AI read it. That's a good idea. Our motto for PoE back then was game is free, no bitching. I feel like I don't know, either I misunderstood this or he misunderstood this. I feel like this quote was used to make fun of people who got mad when you criticized the game. Like someone's complaining about the game and you like ironically say free game, no bitching. Kind of like mocking the people who are like, it's a free game, you can't have an opinion on this. New league drops were Christmas Day and sport tax reading up your bi-weekly paychecks. You get that, I mean, maybe at the beginning, I don't know. You got the feeling that every penny you gave the GG for a new skill effect or portal skin went towards making something impactful and magical. Late nights with the boys blasting beachheads. Whoa, we're way past 2012 now. And chowing on fast food. The year is no longer 2012. How do we go from 2012 to beachheads? That's like 7 years later. Wait, yeah, you don't really blast the beachheads either. Beachheads are like, you kill 5 monsters and then you wait for 20 seconds for it to spawn 5 more monsters. Back to reality. The year is 2019. I commented on an incoming trend of neglect for PoE 1 the moment PoE 2 was announced to become a standalone, and today's news post cemented that sentiment. Cemented that sentiment. I like that. But like all of the best leagues in the game were 2019 and post 2019, so I don't know if that really makes sense. 2019, alright, Blight was shit. Metamorph was shit, but the game is in a really good spot other than Metamorph. Maybe it's not 2019. Maybe it's like 2021 is when the really good league started. Which, I guess I would go against this point even more, because once 2021 hit is when it, like... There's a few, like, areas where it hit next level. Right? There's, like... Around Parandis, you hit, like, the first level of, like... a step up from, like, there just being blue monsters in the map or something. And then you got, like, crafting leagues, you got breach leagues, the big blasting starts. You got Legacy League, the kind of more complex-ish start stuff. And you get Garbinger, and you pick up pennies off the ground. Bestiary, big step for crafting. And Delve and Incursion, and then we start getting like really complex leagues and stuff that you really have to think about and whatnot. And then it just gets better and better until we just hit the wall. So I don't know. PoE1 has undoubtedly suffered massively from its creation. I mean, now it is, but certainly not starting in 2019. Certainly not starting in 2019. Obviously it is right now, but certainly not in 2019. Good faith reserves are not fully depleted, but rations are running low. GG is, I mean, like... I know this guy goes on Reddit. Reddit is always constant bitching. It's like 95% negative. Ever since Harvest League. The future. The year is 2025 and PoE is no longer the respectable ARPG on the market. I mean, that hasn't been the case for years. There's been several respectable ones for years. Project Diablo 2. Grim Dong. What ARPG in 2025 is gonna change this? That's a mod, not an ARPG? What? It's a mod for an ARPG. The current game director of GG has informed us PoE1 is delayed indefinitely, and this time they promised to keep us in the loop, the same old song and dance. I wouldn't really disagree with that. I mean, I wouldn't really agree with that either. Because at one point, GGG is like, fuck you guys, we're significantly decreasing transparency. You guys are pieces of shit. Bye. Thanks, Reddit. And then they've also never said, all right, we're not working on the game anymore until now. It's not the same old song and dance at all. The second child feasts on the still writhing, living flesh of the firstborn. Your literal decade of devotion has fallen on deaf ears. Deaf ears, I have no mouth, yet I must scream. Anybody praising GGG regarding transparency is either on the payroll or delusional. I mean, I'm not really one to praise them for transparency because usually what they end up saying like isn't even is not accurate. I mean, I think they say what they think at the time, but like I don't know. This is empty transparency. This is the result of 5 years of poor resource allocation and management. Transparency means nothing when it's tethered to repeat avoidable mistakes. This news is coming from multi-million-dollar video game company now 100% owned by Tencent, multi-billion-dollar company. No other game studio makes bi-monthly delay announcements in this faction. Yeah, instead they make 6-month delay announcements. This unfortunate outcome regarding the indefinite delay of PoE1 could and ultimately should have been avoided. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, just stick one employee on it and throw an event in. Think the tweet? Sure. I believe it's pointless to complain without offering positive suggestions, so I have some things that alleviate the situation, prevent this in the future. Alright. We needed a timeline for all games, and we definitely need one now. A quarterly plan for the future of PoE1 so we don't get totally blindsided by game delay posts and don't resort to posting images of Azaro on Reddit. Dude, I don't really care for, like... I've never seen a game that accurately follows its roadmap. I mean, maybe some have, but in my experience, pretty much every game I've played, roadmaps have really never done anything. It's like a marketing technique. Like, I don't know, dude. The game will eventually be made, or eventually it won't. And I mean, I think GGG is pretty good precedent of eventually it will be. Yeah, shit is done when it's done, dude. Like, it's cooked when it's cooked. We need an event schedule or template for PoE1 if nothing new is coming soon. Remix leagues are run. Necro Settlers is incredibly fun. Running 2-month duration 2-3 combo leagues would be fantastic. Yeah, I think they should throw like an event or something, but we need a community manager back. Simply put, things are better with Bex around. Yeah, until people on Reddit directly made GGD step back from giving like more transparency. Like at one point, GGG was actually really, really good on communication. Like really good. I mean, they're still okay. But at one point they were like super, super good. They'd have entire write-ups, like the manifestos and whatnot. And people are just like goblin cave dwellers that have never seen a blade of grass in their life. So they're like, yeah, fuck this. Even if it's a false sense of calm, the communication was soothing and helped keep us informed. I think I saw a post from Bex talking about quitting. I don't know. I don't think she quit because of the community, but I sometimes see people speculate that I left GGG because of the community. I want to clarify. It was hard sometimes for sure, but talking to players was my most favorite thing. I look forward to doing it again. Cam, can you get your divines back? No. I mean, like, okay. Here's the thing, right? When you're a game, and I can like directly relate with this. When you're a game developer slash community manager slash whoever, you're dealing with the absolute fucking dregs of humanity who like actually just never go outside. Like you are communicating with like the absolute dregs. Like I remember there was some Reddit post where like it was like it doesn't affect me, but normal people, like if you look at new streamers, I talk about this. You look at new streamers and they get so like fucking messed up because of they go and read all their YouTube comments and they get like genuinely upset over the dregs of humanity trying to attempting to communicate with them. And then you have like normal employees dealing with this shit. Like most people didn't grow up terminally online like I did. Like you expose a normal person to like the shit these people put up with, and you're like, holy shit. Like it is super obvious why they have taken a massive step back. Because people just are, I don't know, just absolute goblins. Like I'm used to it, I don't give a shit. Then you introduce like normie employees to the mix and it's Jover, dude. They can't handle it. And they shouldn't be expected to either. Do not stick with the original plan to run 8 leagues yearly between 2 games alternating. You have proven you're not capable of doing 3 leagues for PoE1 while developing PoE2. What? Oh, it means 3 leagues in a year? I mean, they were doing pretty well for a while. 2021, 4 leagues. 2022, 4 leagues. 2023, 3 leagues. And then, obviously, as the game is being ready to push... I mean, he is wrong until recently. Like, he's acting like... He's acting like it's not an objective fact until right now. Until right now. PoE2 has been in development for years. And I 100%, I mean, it could be copium or whatever, but once PoE2 is actually ironed out, I don't see why they can't do 2 leagues for each game. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, obviously, when they're getting ready to push a full game, or not a full game, but like ready to actually do a public release of their next biggest thing, obviously it's going to take more resources than just doing like upkeep leagues later on. After 11 years of a dedicated player base, I don't think we should be consistently reveling in it could definitely be worse. We are beaten dogs and we bark with each new league. Lol. See you on launch weekend without fail. I don't know. I hate like when people talk about the really common thing on Reddit. I haven't seen it. Well, I don't ever go on PoE Reddit anymore. It's just bitching. But whenever people compare, it was really popular around like 2021 or so. People are like they constantly compare PoE1 to like an abusive relationship or something. Like, please, just what is wrong with you? Just don't play the game. image. What? Reddit sucks. They could have said this in early December, at least I would have just moved on then. Like, moved on from a fucking video game? Pull up your big boy pants, man. Just don't fucking play the game. What do you mean moved on? What difference does it mean now? Are you like it's taking up a mental portion of your brain? What the fuck does that mean, dude? Holy text. Source 20 years running large game dev projects as teams. Alright, well, yeah, this is gonna be huge. I think this post is gonna be a good one. This is a significant problem and one I think GG are handling the wrong way for the following reasons. Not forcing yourself now to devote resources to PoE1 leagues is going to make it harder and harder to reallocate them in the future because you'll fall in the trap of we can't move person X to PoE1 because they are building / supporting system Y and PoE2. Yeah, but what about when they finish it? Thanks for the Prime Slaters. PoE2 is a long, long way from complete. It is not in a fit state to hold your audience's attention the same way PoE1 is. I mean, like, I agree the game's not complete, but this is just not true. The PoE2 is still, like, we're almost 2 months into PoE2. And the game is still at normal, like, league start PoE1 numbers. Like, this is, I don't know, this is just stupid. In the work required to get it there is many multiples of what is required to create a new league in PoE1. Even if you keep the entire team on PoE2, it'll be leaking player numbers with no guarantee it'll come back for each release in the way your existing PoE1 players do. Okay. Your revenue will be... Dude, is this guy an MBA? Your revenue will be coming solely from PoE1 until PoE2 is in a fit state for people to enjoy. What? This is probably a non-factor given the fund raised by EA for PoE2, but worth noting. Dude, this guy must have worked for Blizzard for 20 years, because this doesn't make any fucking sense. You are further alienating the PoE1 players who do not enjoy the direction of PoE2. What do you, like, why are people talking about alienating? How are they alienating it just because the game's not being updated? Financially, this is a drop in the ocean compared to the potential revenue from new players came PoE2, but those PoE1 players are currently stuck to GG. You do risk losing them and their money. Will the new PoE2 players be stuck in the same way? Who knows? I mean, I'm 100% certain that once they do another PoE1 league, all the PoE1 players are going to go back to it. Like, if any, I'd be genuinely surprised if the next PoE1 league does not have at the highest peak for PoE1. Like I don't like people. Do most people jump ship after 2 weeks of a PoE1 league anyways? Like, they're gonna come back eventually. They always quit really fast. That's like how this works. Like, people play more than one game at a time. Why, like, not everybody is like a dopamine, like, addict of video games that can only play a singular game, that they need their harvest slots simulator item generator. Not most people are not like that. People just play different games. Most people do not play one game only. They'll be back eventually. It's not like I mean, you'll maybe permanently lose some people, and good for those people. They need to stop being like this. For their own sake. The PoE1 and PoE2 designs are clearly diverging, and by not... What? And by not having anybody working on or thinking about PoE1, you run the risk that PoE2 design direction leaks back into PoE1 when you finally get around to it. What the fuck is this guy talking about? This may not be a problem, but the audience are clearly expecting different games than the PoE1 already like what they have, so injecting too much PoE2 into could have an impact. Or you've got it opposite. There's too much PoE1 and PoE2 right now. However, gamers are very fickle by nature, and it is rare to get a large casual audience to stick in the way that player have stuck to PoE1. Are you stupid? Okay, this guy does not work at Blizzard. Okay, he does not work at Blizzard, because if he worked at Blizzard, he would know that is not true. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I say the game is not fit state to hold player attention. I could have been clearer and stated in comparison to PoE1. PoE1 is something of an anomaly that is only really mirrored by games like League, Dota, COD, and Fortnite, and that a significant portion of its player base is the main game they play. But that's just not true about PoE1. The player base is like plummets after the first 2 weeks. This is not... Jesus Christ. That was something. But yeah, it's hard for me to not go in full nuclear meltdown mode since I funded this whole mess with buying supporter packs. Now I'm left hanging dry because of PoE 2. He single-handedly funded GGG. People, this is something people do. When people buy supporter packs, I think it's because of the name supporter pack. And like, I mean, I guess the way GGG talks about it too, but people act like they're like investors. They like feel like they're in Chris's garage in 2012 and they're like, yeah, I've got something entitled here. Like, I don't know. The way I treat supporter packs is I look at it, okay, it looks cool, I'm gonna get that because it looks cool and I like the current state of the game. When the supporter packs look like shit and I'm not super happy with the state of the game, crazy, I don't buy it. Sacrificing your old die-hard fan base to work on an early access game is certainly a bold strategy. Bro, where are they gonna go? Not sacrificing anybody. Thanks for the T1 sub, Secono. Industry Insider, who gave a talk on Industry Insider. Is this good? Oh. Did he actually talk about this? Okay, what do you think the odds are I click on this and it's going to be just completely irrelevant to what is happening right now? What do you think? Do you think this is going to be completely irrelevant to what is happening right now?
Myself. I wish I was smart enough to think of this, but this actually came from Kriparian, the awesome streamer who played a lot of Path of Exile at the time. And so Kriparian and I were chatting on Skype, as I like to say that we did occasionally. And
I just like to say when PoE 2 first came out and a bunch of like new players were shitting on Kriparian's opinion and not knowing who he was and like, this guy's a washed up gamer. What does he even matter with PoE 2?
And he said to me, you know what, Chris, I've got a lesson for you that really helped me with my streaming. He said, every day I will wake up and I'll stream at a reliable time. I'm there right at that moment. And I'm going to stream until a predictable time. And then I'm going to work on my highlights video and I'm going to post that at a predictable time. And then I'm back tomorrow doing exactly the same thing. And I'm going to try not to take days off. I'm just going to stream at these times. And the reason he explained was because that way when someone comes home from work and they're wanting to watch Kriparian, if that's the time of day that he's streaming, then they'll be able to watch him. And if they want to watch a video before they go to bed or whatever the timing is, it will be there. And the day that it's not there is the day they look on the internet and say, what will entertain me? What else is there in the world? And they'll find some other thing, maybe another streamer, maybe a TV show, and now that's the thing they're doing for entertainment. And he felt that his numbers dropped significantly if he deviated from his very rigid schedule. Now, you know, he's a powerhouse of streaming, right? He's amazing. And he recommended that we do a similar schedule with Path of Exile because he said, look at your graph of what you've actually done in 2014. I made this graph, not him, but it was all over the place, right? We've got medium leagues at 20 weeks, big ones at 16. They arbitrarily get small and close together. No Path of Exile player is going to think anything other than, is that game dying? Like, what's going on with them getting smaller? And what's with the timing? No one can predict anything.
Yeah,
and so he strongly suggested we have a rigid schedule because that way it's more convenient for him because then he knows when to stream it, but it's also convenient for everyone else. And so we tried this out. So this was our new schedule, the new era of leagues, as it's called. And so they're every 13 weeks. So this means exactly
Got
4 of them
enchiladas
fit
for
into a
lunch.
year. That means that we know that they're going to be on the second weekend of the final month in each quarter or whatever we do. And this perfectly fits having one a few weeks before Christmas and a week before GDC and a week before E3. It just matches everything, and it's great. So we started doing this, and we were initially doing some pipelining. We work on a small one while working on a bigger one in the background. And then in the second part of the cycle, we release the big one and then repeat this. And that enabled us to experiment with scope and so on, because at this point, we still weren't 100% sure how large these had to be to have the correct effect. We were pretty sure 13 weeks, which is roughly 3 months, was the right amount of time. So that was the new schedule. Now, the key philosophy here is players will stop playing your game. That's unavoidable. At some stage, something's going to happen that makes them stop playing. They get a new job or whatever, they get burnt out, another game comes along. But the key thing is to give them a lot of opportunity to re-engage, and that means they have to really clearly know when they're next coming back. It is inexcusable for a player to be able to leave your game without knowing the date that they are returning to it, as far as we're concerned with this. And so that's why we want to make sure that users quit with a plan to come back, because before we clearly signaled when the next release was, players would get horribly burnt out, and then they would just never play again. Whereas now, they can quit before they get burnt out. They can say, you know what, I've finished this league, I've seen this stuff, I'll just come back for the next one. And that's amazing for us, because then the users are fresh, they get chances to play their AAA games or Fortnite or whatever they do, and it works really well. Also, we monetize very heavily towards the start of our leagues. That's where we introduce...
Yeah, but... I mean, like... I don't know if I mean, it could be a little bit different this time around, but I don't know if this really applies to right now, because they've been very wishy-washy about releasing leagues for years now, and the player base has continued to go up to being all-time high. So, I mean, I don't know if it's as, like, rigid as having to do it like at the same time, because I mean that is not held true. I think it's kind of been all over the place, but it is I guess we will see when I don't know. Yeah, I mean I guess like have to make the sacrifice. We'll see what ends up happening. Yeah, I feel like this is a little different than like I mean, it's clear they're making a sacrifice. I mean, they said they wouldn't, they are. This adds a whole new game into the mix here. Like, it's obviously better to be on a schedule, but in recent years, it hasn't even had to be a recent schedule, like a rigid schedule, and the player base still keeps going up. So, even like, I don't know. Like we have PoE 2, which holds people over, tides people over. Like PoE 2 I can see it like effectively being the quality of leagues have gone up. The best leagues have been in the last 3 years. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's that crazy to think like, okay, where's my graph thing? Here we go. We have the Necropolis League, and it was like 5 months, and then we have PoE 2, which is kind of like effectively, or Settlers League, yeah, Settlers League. All right, it's like 5 months, and then we get PoE 2, which is effectively would take the place of a new league, and then the timeline kind of restarts. Like, I mean, I don't think most PoE 1 players are dissatisfied with PoE 2. Like, most people really like PoE 2. Even with the lack of endgame stuff to do and the game being broken, like... I mean, yeah, but you guys are like the constant complainers. So I don't think it's really crazy to think that PoE 2, like, these people aren't going to come back to PoE 1. And even if they don't come back, there's way more new players to go play PoE 1 now. So there's 5 months of Settlers League. We get PoE 2, which will reinvigorate most people, give them their dose, they'll leave, and then hopefully we get another PoE 1 league by like summer. And then I think it's fine. As long as it's not like a literal year to the next PoE 1 league, I don't think it's that bad. Like, I like the as loud as the people are that constantly bitch about PoE 1 and are constant doomers on it constantly for the last 4 years, ever since Harvest came out, and it's been these very, very vocal minority of people that really like the item editor gameplay, and ever since then they have been nonstop bitching about the game. I feel like that, like, they're very vocal, but there's actually not that many people like that. Thankfully. Let's see if another new videos come out so I can watch while I eat it. It's like, I don't know. Reddit is just full of... It's like Reddit is the hotspot for depressed, addicted, downer people. Like, I do not think it is the majority of the player base. It's just everywhere on Reddit. But I mean, like, not shitting on them because of that, but like, it's not what most people think about the game. It's easy to think it's the majority, but it's definitely not. Okay, let's see if I can find a video to eat too. That bug with monsters stuck in walls? You mean like you get a rare monster out of bounds? Yeah, you gotta redo it. Two classes would I recommend in PoE 1? Trickster is the best right now, and you go Power Siphon. It's a little weird to play at first, though. Oh, there is this video I wanted to watch.
To another video. Now, back when the Path of Exile 2 ascendancies were first revealed, I was super excited to be able to get into the whole theory craft and build craft revolving around them, especially in combination with the new Path of Exile 2 passive tree. And I still think that the Path
I'm interested to hear what this video has to say, because I think the ascendancies are quite good.
of Exile 2 ascendancies are pretty good, and some of them are very well designed, but some of them have a bit of a problem going on, and that is to do with the illusion of choice.
Oh, not this. I hate when people say the illusion of choice in PoE 1. Whenever I hear illusion of choice in PoE 1, it just comes down to people who don't understand the game. And I'm hoping that is not what this is going to be. Like, people like look at trees in PoE 1 and they're like, illusion of choice, because it tends to be that the trees end up looking kind of similar, when in reality the builds are all very different. So people imply, when they say illusion of choice, they're like saying that there's actually not many decisions to be made, and that everything ends up converging into like one very similar homogeneous blob, where in reality that's not really the case.
What do I mean by that exactly? Well, let's kind of get straight into it and discuss one of the ascendancies that I think there is a problem with, and that's the Deadeye.
Okay, in PoE 2, it's kind of the place. In PoE 2, on the passive tree, there kind of is illusion of choice, because every build has to get energy shield, but rather 99% of builds have to get energy shield. But PoE 1 is not like that at all.
So the Deadeye is a ranger ascendancy, and this class has basically been pulled straight from PoE 1. There's some differences there, but they've also borrowed a lot of the ideas that PoE 1 had
Hello,
with
fresh
the Deadeye. I actually want to kind of take this opportunity to compare the two, because whilst I don't like to compare things between PoE 1 and PoE 2 all that often, because they are very different games, this is actually a really good opportunity to compare the two, because one game, in my opinion, does this really well, and the other one just doesn't do it very well at all. And that's in regards to this first branch here, the Tailwind branch. So in Path of Exile 2, for the Deadeye, you get this first node here. It grants Tailwind on skill use, so you get Tailwind every time you use a skill, and you lose all Tailwind when hit. Now, Tailwind is a little bit different in PoE 2 compared to what it is in PoE 1, but the idea is pretty much the same. You're gaining like a stacking buff there that is providing you more and more speed. You got more movement speed, more skill speed, and so this node is very strong at being able to speed up your character. The faster you are, the faster you move around, the faster you can clear, the faster you can deal damage, things like that. However, on this node is a big downside immediately paired with that upside. You lose all Tailwind when you get hit. Now, whilst I would argue in favour of this downside on this node, because obviously gaining Tailwind up to its maximum is very, very strong, and you kind of need a downside there to balance this out, there is a bit of a problem with this node, and the problem actually comes with the node after it, Wind Ward. So Wind Ward is 3% less damage taken per Tailwind. That on its own is an extremely strong node, and that's the reason why it's kind of locked behind this first node, and it's like an extra bit that you can then invest into to make Tailwind even more effective. But the problem here is that there isn't really a choice going from Gathering Winds to Wind Ward. There's no choice being made there. You're essentially gaining 3% less damage taken per Tailwind, so that's up to 30% less damage taken, while you actually have a Tailwind. But the problem here is that if you're taking Gathering Winds, you are pretty much always taking Wind Ward, because there's no real choice being made there, right? This is just, Wind Ward is this much better. There's no kind of trade-off happening there. And what I'd like to do to explain this point further, I'd like to head over to the Path of Exile 1 Deadeye to actually showcase exactly what I mean. So here is the PoE 1 Deadeye, and here's the branch that is basically ripped straight from PoE 1 and placed into PoE 2. It's slightly different, but the concept is very much the same. So instead of gathering stacks of Tailwind, you actually gain stacks of Gale Force instead, and you always have Tailwind, and Gale Force is basically a multiplier for how strong that Tailwind is. So you can see there that, Tailwind grants you increased action speed, and then each stack of Gale Force improves that Tailwind, and sort of grants more effect to it, so you get basically a stronger Tailwind once you have maximum stacks of Gale Force, right? But you'll notice here on the first node, on the Gathering Winds node, you do not lose those stacks of Gale Force when you get hit. So you're able to take Gathering Winds as a purely offensive notable, and that is going to improve the speed of your character, right? You're going to be able to go much faster, but you don't lose the stacks of Gale Force when you actually get hit. Now, the second node that is hidden behind this is Wind Ward, and Wind Ward then provides you with a very compelling decision. You can actually make the choice to convert your Gale Force into a defensive mechanic. 4% less damage taken per Gale Force, but in a trade-off for that, you will lose all Gale Force when you actually get hit. So let's say you get hit at this less damage taken per Tailwind, and it just kind of, if you are going for Tailwind on a Deadeye, which pretty much every Deadeye is ever going to go for because it's just such a strong ascendancy notable, you're pretty much going to take Wind Ward as well, because why wouldn't you, right? There's not really, one of these other 1-point nodes is unlikely to be better than what this provides you. You're kind of priced into taking that node. Now, in a video that I done recently, I actually discussed the exact same problem on the Witch Hunter. So the Witch Hunter has this branch here that grants you Sorcery Ward. And the Sorcery Ward is a skill that essentially provides a buff that takes damage before your life or energy shield or mana. And it takes elemental damage, and it basically obtains that shield based on a certain percentage of your combined armor and evasion. And this first node here, Possessive Rituals, well, this node provides a massive downside as part of obtaining Sorcery Ward. So you get the Sorcery Ward skill, but you also have to take on this giant downside of 50% less armor and evasion rating. That is a brutal downside to be able to use Sorcery Ward going on there. But the only playing block on a War Rental Storm, so the same can be said for the Chronomar of 8. So you've got Good is being able to double those poisons, and this node on its own, spreading poisons in a radius, is not that strong considering there's already a Spirit Gem, right? There's already Herald of Plague, which kind of does almost the exact same thing. And so you would likely play a different Ascendancy that can get more damage on a single poison in a low tolerance build, in which case you're never taking this node on its own, you are always taking both of these nodes together. Now, I do want to kind of point out, and I want to go against my argument in this video as well, because I think there's actually a lot of nodes in Path of Exile 2 on the ascendancies that are actually done right. So, for example, let's go through a few of these now. First of all, Warbringer. We already talked about the block branch and how that does feel like an illusion of choice. Well, on the opposite end, you have the totem branch, which in my opinion is actually done pretty well. So you have Answer Call, which provides this kind of minion system. It's like some ancestral spirits that provide you with some pretty strong buffs, and that is whenever you actually summon a totem. Behind this, you get a very defensive node, which makes your totems take damage before you do. This is still a very powerful option, a very powerful defensive option if you want to go for it. But just because you're taking Answer Call, you're always going to necessarily be taking Wooden Wall as well. You know, you might find that Answer Call provides you with enough defense. The minions are already tanking for you a little bit. You get some defense.
I need to open PoE. I mean, I don't really like. Like, I don't know, like, what? Okay, so this has damage reduction behind it. And this has damage reduction behind it. It would help if I actually knew what this did. What does Ancestral Spirits do? What does this do? Yeah, but you can take the first node without taking the second on Deadeye as well. I don't see how. So this one, I don't know. Different buffs, Totem Mob. Not working. Control F Herald in the guide. So, okay. This is some buffs. I don't know how good it is. Is it good? Well, the second, I mean, no. Okay, so I don't understand how this is good, but or maybe I missed. He said, okay, so he says this is good, right? Like good design, not necessarily balance, but he says this is good design. How is that good design and this is bad design? It's the same shit. It's literally like the same shit. You get some buff, and then you get damage reduction. You get some buff, and then you get damage reduction. Yeah, I'm assuming you're making less choices. It's the same amount of choices. It's literally exactly the same.
From the turtle, for example, there is defensive options there, and you may want to take something else. You may want to take Jade Heritage and Wool as tip node that provide you how that feels. That does feel like an illusion of choice. Well, on the opposite end, you have the Totem branch, which in my opinion is actually done pretty well. So you have Answered Call, which provides this kind of minion system. It's like some ancestral spirits that provide you with some pretty strong buffs, and that is whenever you actually summon a.
Okay, so it is a strong buff. I don't know how good it actually is, but apparently it's a strong buff according to him. Tailwind is also a strong buff.
A totem. Behind this, you get a very defensive node.
And I'm assuming that Tailwind is better than that. I'd be very surprised if Tailwind is better than that.
Which makes your totems take damage before you do. This is still a very powerful option, a very powerful defensive option if you want to go for it. But just because you're taking Answer Call, you're not always going to necessarily be taking Wooden Wall as well. You know.
What? But, huh? Why? Okay, it's a 10% damage. Wait, this node is more consistent than the Tailwind one, though. But I don't see, like, this node. I'm assuming this node actually sucks. He says it's strong, but I'm gonna guess this node sucks. It seems like it sucks just from having 10 years of looking at nodes in the game. Purely based on vibes. I'm guessing this shit sucks. So it's kind of like the opposite. This is bad design. Or worse design. You have to take a bad node to get to the good node. And then this one, you take a good node to get to the good node. And they're both nodes at the end are just damage reduction. Like, say that the Ancestral Spirits actually is good. They're the same exact concept. Like, whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. The first thing's a buff. I mean, okay, I guess it's because... Well, no, I don't know. Because this is linked to Tailwind. So you need to get Tailwind here to get this Tailwind. But effectively, you're taking both nodes anyways, so that doesn't matter. Yeah, but if you always take Tailwind, you're always going to take Wooden Wall too. Not necessarily. They're the same thing. Both second nodes are damage reduction. They do the exact same thing. Wooden Wall is probably better than the Tailwind node. Wooden Wall is better than the Tailwind node. Wooden Wall is better than Windward. Windward is worse than Wooden Wall.
You know, you might find that Answer Call provides you with enough defense. The minions are already tanking for you a little bit. You get some defense from the turtle, for example. There is defensive options there. And you may want to take something else. You may want to take Jade Heritage instead, right? It's not guaranteed that you're always going to take these two nodes together. Another example of this is the Infernalist, right? So the Infernalist has Altered Flesh, which is a very strong defensive notable. I could see builds using this node on its own. You're not necessarily going to be taking one of these reservation nodes here, you know, which provides you with some extra resource based on your life. You may just be taking this node for its pure defensive purposes, and then you may end up going for something else, like, you know, a demon form build that also uses Pyromantic Pact.
Okay, now this is a better example. This is a much better example. This one makes much more sense. I think the Wooden Wall was cooked.
You could take the Loyal Hellhound. There's a lot of options here, right? There's also the Blood Mage branch here for crit. This one grants you increased critical damage bonus per 40 life, and then
for the Deadeye, it's 100% a straight-up improvement of the first node. For the Deadeye, you can play the Ancestors and opt in for the block nodes afterwards. I mean, yeah, but you could always you can not click this too. Like that, yes, the tanky Ascendancy has more tanky options. That makes sense. The Glass Cannon Ascendancy only has one tanky option.
Behind it grants you base critical hit chance for spells is 15%. This makes sense that the order of these nodes is this way round, because base critical hit chance for spells is 15% is extremely powerful, considering there's some spells that they want to make really hard for you to be able to cap the crit chance or get it very high. And they base that around spells having a low base critical hit chance, and so this being a second node makes a lot of sense. But the idea that the increased critical damage bonus per 40 life comes first is a good one, because there's going to be some builds, for example, that want to play a non-spell crit build on Blood Mage, in which case they don't want to interact with Sunder the Flesh in any way, but they do want Gore Spike. And there's going to be other builds that want to play a spell build that already has a high base crit
Yeah, but the tanky option for Deadeye is worse than Wooden Wall.
chance, at which point the value of Son of the Flesh is diminished, and they may not want to take it. There's also the Shock and Chill branches here on the Stormweaver. So the first node on both of these branches kind of allows you to apply a double Shock, apply a double Chill, and the second node allows all damage to contribute to that Shock and, Shock chance or Chill magnitude. And so, once again, this makes a lot of sense having it this way around. It doesn't feel like you're always going to take both of these nodes together, because there's going to be some builds that want to play a pure lightning setup, in which case this second node is useless to them, but the first node is going to be very powerful, and it's kind of the same there for the Chill node. On the Chronomancer, we have another...
I know it's not about the power, but I'm saying on either ascendancy, you're clicking both nodes. Like, this has no tanky nodes, so obviously you click the one tanky node. This has multiple tanky nodes, so you can go click the other tanky nodes if you want. That, yes, obviously. But if I play Warbringer, there is no way I don't click Wooden Wall. There is a 0% chance I don't click Wooden Wall on Warbringer. Like, there's no scenario you take Jade over 20% damage reduction.
Another good example of this with Temporal Rift, which is a very powerful spell in its own right. And some builds may want to be playing Temporal Rift, but they may not want to interact in any way with Time Freeze. They might not be interested in playing with Time Freeze. And the idea of Time Freeze being locked in a 2-point node actually makes a lot of sense, because it is extremely powerful, but it doesn't feel like you are always going to take both of these nodes together. Of course, if you want to get to Time Freeze, you have to first go through Temporal Rift, and in some cases you may not want to invest into Temporal Rift, but you are spending 4 points to get to it. But there are the cases there where people may want to play Temporal Rift on its own, and this does feel like a good option for 2 points. So hopefully I was able to properly get across the problem I have there with some of the Ascendancy options in Path of Exile 2. It really does feel like there's an illusion of choice, when in reality, on a Deadeye, if you're going for the Tailwind, you're going to be taking both nodes. It's the same with this Frenzy branch here, by the way. 30% chance that if you would gain Frenzy charges, you instead gain up to your maximum number of Frenzy charges. Okay, that is decent, but it's not that powerful. The reason why this node is there in the first place is to block off Thrilling Chase. Benefits from consuming Frenzy charges for your skills has a 50% chance to be doubled, and so if you're playing a Frenzy charge build that is spending a lot of Frenzy charges to gain their benefits, you are going to be taking both of these notables. You are never only going to be taking Avidity, because it just doesn't make any sense. You want to be able to get to Thrilling Chase, and so once again, this is that illusion of choice. What do you guys think about this kind
Okay, I mean, I think I get what he's saying. He just gave a really bad example of Warbringer, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like... I don't know. Deadeye is like, yeah... I don't know. That bad example just unlocked me. But yeah, I mean, I can see what he's saying. I get it. I think his take is, which I don't know. I think he I don't know. He kind of rambled a lot, and I didn't think. No, I think his take is good. I think this video is a lot of rambling, and the first example I encountered didn't make sense. Like, what he's saying is these are so good that you have to take them, right? Like if you're playing a projectile build on Deadeye, you will pretty much never not take this tree, right? Like there's actually nothing else you can click, right? Like this thing sucks. These aren't gonna work on most builds. I mean, I guess you could choose between these two. So, I mean, I don't know if that, I mean, you know, I mean, most of the time you're gonna take this, but I mean, there could be scenarios where you click that, but like what he's saying about this one existing is like this node is pretty bad with the aura in the game that does the same thing, and then you need to click this one for poison builds. Orc ward, good or bad? It's fine. Let's see. So Infernalist gives you good choices. Blood Mage gives you good choices. Stormweaver. I feel like I mean, the Arcane Surge stuff isn't really a choice because Archmage is so busted. But if Archmage was fixed, I think this is fixed. Right? I'm not even gonna look at Chronomancer. I think Monk has pretty good decisions. You can go the lightning or the cold. I've taken that's been a meaningful choice for me. And then you get Avatar. The meta skill thing is good. These are good. I'm not even gonna look at Chayola. I mean, I could see the thinking, like, ideally you don't have mandatory choices, but I mean, actually, I feel like Witch Hunter, even though it's a relatively weak class, I feel like it has pretty good choices. Like, you got weapon set stuff. Like, is your build gonna take that or not? Then Culling a Strike, like you're mapping, and then Decimating Strike. Maybe you don't want that if you're only doing, I mean, I guess you'd want it for clear. Okay, maybe Witch Hunter's bad about this. Rip Doran. Yeah, maybe, okay. Yeah, Witch Hunter seems pretty pretty bad about this, I think. But I feel like Gemling has pretty good choices. I feel like, okay, Witch Hunter is definitely the worst in this regard. We'll get rid of these ones. I don't know enough about Titan. I probably don't know enough about this either. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the title's pretty inaccurate. It should be like, some of the ascendancies has a problem. Alright, well I mean, I think that's about it. I might have to play the game now. I might have to play the game. Unfortunate. Is this live? No, it just says live on like 3 places on the screen, and it's actually not live. Well, I gotta wait for some more people to make some videos. Yeah, I've got like 3 DD guides. Invoker is definitely the most enjoyable. Easy. How many div have I found? I don't know, I have not kept track. Can I get a better 14? Nope. You should probably just play this build on a Deadeye. $10 or $100? Like from raw drops? I don't know. Probably like in the middle. Well, that's more like listen time for you, Go. Sure. Four slots of maps. Eventually they'll probably add something that goes in there, but right now there's nothing. Your memes? No. Oh, what is that?
Flex with Twitch streamers, and they ban people so much for the dumbest stuff that they...
Wait, what, dude? What is this? No way, this is like hashtag Twitch, hashtag streaming, hashtag live stream, hashtag DSLE.
I don't know why is it a weird flex with Twitch streamers and whatever that they ban people so much for the dumbest stuff that they have to have unbanned streams. It's not a flex. It's sad.
What? You think that guy's banned? Dude, I always find it weird when people get upset about bans. Like, just fucking make a new account, dude. It's like when people get banned for typing the forbidden number and then they have to send their ID to Twitch. Like, I'm not fucking sending my ID to Twitch. I'm just gonna make a new account. I mean, like, different as a streamer, obviously, but you know, I just mean like for chatter. Yeah, I switched paths now. Now I'm on the right path. Wasn't this exact image, like, opposite a month ago? I feel like I've seen that before. When you randomize a portal effect, it circumvents the character restriction. Well, I don't know what that means. That's pretty funny data. Oh my god, dude, explode already! Why was that detonate dead like half the size of the screen? Stop! Yeah, that was a good short. More of you make shorts like that? Dr. Cum, you have a big opportunity here. Your meme level is gonna be upgraded. It's time for you to start making YouTube shorts. What's one I played? Ice Strike Monk. They'll nerf the numbers or just put fine tier 4 nerd drop rate. I feel like the numbers are kind of insane for Hala, but maybe it'd be okay if the skills were also not insane. So I don't know. No, GGG might triple tap it, who knows? Hmm. I think the map had corruption on it, which cut the XP in half, so I kinda got trolled and I only have 250% XP gain. Let's see the ladder. Almost at 100. Boss rush game mode? I mean, that's called you just buy a million boss invitations. Yeah, Elon's at number 3. What a god gamer. I don't think he's gonna get banned. Ugh, it's like Iron Man with the thing in his chest, except Elon has a computer screen there and it like can extend out. Please get shocked. No, I can't. I'm blocked here. Oscrix? Oh yeah, the new Wolcen game, dude. The new Wolcen devs are making another game, and it's gonna be an extraction ARPG, apparently. Yeah. That's gonna be a game for sure. Yeah. Project Pantheon. An innovative extraction RPG. Oh, and there's, I see they're doing extraction, like AR, extra-BRG, blending high-stakes extraction gameplay with deep hack and slash mechanics, exploring a grounded dark fantasy world, battle fierce foes, and PvPvE combat, and secure valuable loot. But beware, failure to extract can lose it all. I've already watched this, there's nothing in it. Yeah, like Dark and Darker Tarkov is an extraction game. All Ellie or Chaos Res more important? I mean, Chaos Res is probably better. I don't know the numbers, but I mean, both should be good. Yeah, trade for better items. Dude, it's looking, looking bleak till Monster Hunter comes out. No League of Legends. Wait, my Herald of Thunder is only level 4? crossbow weapon switch bug happen often? And the thing where your crossbow like turns into a bow? That only happens in Hideout. Dude, I can't actually get a high level Herald of Thunder because I don't have the right skills. I don't know if I'm gonna make it past 4 hours this stream. Where do you have? You go into your skills and you click the like arrow and you look at your skill stats and it's in there. Someone said Rage Gaming deleted all PoE 2 videos. Looks true. Wait, no way. No fucking way, dude. What is that? Why is that the sound that happens when I click on Rage Gaming's channel? What is that? Oh, I don't actually see it. Wait, nope, there's one. Path of Exile 2. Wait. They're not deleted all at all. I got baited. Tricked. You tricked me to hear the chicken noise. I mean, it wasn't one guide. Like, 3 people have said it today. The hog video? On what? Nope. Does he have a meltdown? Yeah, it is Anaya. Dude, I just want to see someone be really mad. I don't want to watch somebody talk about 20 minutes on blah 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 saying the same thing as everybody else. Speaking of rarity, how much do I have? 25. Yeah, but it's not as funny when it's in text, Dr. Chem. When somebody's having a meltdown in text, I just... like... I don't know, it's just pitiful. When I can see a video of someone having a meltdown, it's still funny, though. These damn things. You know, it's kind of like a perfect loop for me. people love consuming negative content and being negative, and like people love being angry. Like they'll go out of their way to be angry, and it's perfect because I love watching angry people. Like the perfect loop for me. Yeah, I mean, bitching is fun. And then people take it to the next level and they're like actually genuinely upset. For a special request for who bans us. Sure. Don't type that, Olivia. No, Evolve Factory. I don't know, maybe I'll play PoE 1 soon. I don't know what I want to do. What even, like, when your eyes are dilated, like, I don't remember. I've only had it done once, and I don't remember, like, it being bad after the first, like, 5 seconds. Don't remember that. What do you dilate the eyes for? I don't know. I had it like the eye doctor has done it one time when I was a kid, and that was it. I've not done it since. No LASIK. LASIK sucks. LASIK bad. Anti-LASIK sponsorship. Reverse. Oh, speaking of... Well, I explained this the other day, so I have no problem with wearing glasses, especially if I actually would get my glasses like fixed so they don't slide down. And LASIK is like, there's a small chance you go blind from it. And if I was blind, I would kill myself. So, not really the risk is not very good. Yeah, have you ever seen an eye doctor who's had LASIK? I haven't. They all wear glasses. That's a good point. According to the shitty Google AI, which is totally going to be accurate, between 20 and 55% of people experience, that's a big range, experience persistent eye symptoms after LASIK eye surgery. Most of these are mild and resolved within a couple of months, but some people experience long-term symptoms. That's too high. Okay, let's see here. LASIK eye this looks real. 20 million people have had LASIK eye surgery since the procedure became available. Studies show the average satisfaction rate of LASIK is 95.4. 4.6% is a huge fucking number. If you have a 4.6 chance to hit something in PoE, I'm like, holy shit, that's basically guaranteed. Serious complications occur in 0.3% of LASIK patients. 0.3 is crazy high. 0.3% chance that I kill myself after the surgery. That's what that means right here. Well, maybe, depending what the serious complications are. Serious complication is when a patient experiences loss of vision. Yeah, so if that happens in both my eyes, it's over. Plus, I don't mind glasses. Dude, 0.3 on both, like, hitting 0.3 twice is in PoE terms, that's a pretty high number. That's a pretty high number, dude. No, that is way more common than a mirror drop. That is far, 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 far more common than a mirror drop. If it was the chance of a mirror drop with LASIK, I'd probably do it. Also, I don't want eye surgery, that's scary. Grills. Yeah, I've got a pair of iced out grills already. Where people get like 20 contacts stuck behind their eyes. What? How do you even... You'd think they would stop on like the third contact at least. Did she have dementia or something? Like how old people will eat glue and paint? That's the only way. But I don't know. Your eye does not hurt? Well, tell that to me when I get an eyelash in my eye. There's no way, dude. I mean, it definitely hurts when you get poked in the eye. Okay, in elementary school, there used to be this thing where kids would try and touch their eyes as much as they can, and I did it. And you could definitely feel that shit. I don't know why I did it. Other kids did it, that's why. I don't know, there's a lot of things about eyes. The one I started was I had kids start pushing on their eyes, like with their eyes closed, because it makes funny colors show up. I'm like, hey guys, funny colors if you push on your eyeballs. Wonder how many people need glasses because of me. I wonder if that's why I need glasses. And then there was like people trying... And then there was like people try to touch their eyeball like with their finger. And then also people would like try and do the thing where your eyes roll up and your eyes are all white, you know? That was a thing. There's a lot of weird eye things in like elementary school now I think about it. You'd try and do that and then going cross-eyed and stuff. And then flipping your eyelids inside out. A lot of weird eye things. I could never do the flipping your eyelid inside out. Oh, there was some kid who could like shoot liquid out of his eye. Like he would drink it and then he could like shoot it out of his eyeball. Is there any other eyeball things? I don't know. What is it, Olivian? Not a single person has ever gone blind from LASIK. Complications from pre-existing conditions or poor aftercare. I had my ear pierced over a year ago and it still has irritation bumps. I don't care if it's from poor aftercare or from the thing itself. But what does pre-existing condition mean? In this case. Because, like, I mean, I feel like bad eyesight's kind of bad pre-existing condition. I have pretty bad astigmatism. I mean, not super bad, but could definitely be better. Why does PoE 2 crash on you so much? Try switching renderers. I'm out of regals. Nope, they're there. Yeah, if I look at a streetlight, there's halos around it. Like, come on, booger. All people have that to a degree? I don't think so. I mean, maybe like really minor or something. There's no way it's normal though. The general shape is wrong? Yeah, from me pushing on my eyes as a kid. It makes funny colors. I don't know, it depends on the day for me. Sometimes I have it really bad, other days it's like, whatever. Or get your glasses mixed up. No, my prescription is way stronger than hers. And our glasses don't look similar. And I put my glasses in the same spot every day. Which color is the funniest? All of them. Matching drip glasses. I want to get... Well, I like these glasses, but I want to get new ones that don't have a blue light filter because... You know, like... You know the like, okay, so, you know there's like movies do like the thing where if the movie is in like Mexico, everything's orange. If it's in like Poland, everything is like green grayish or something, you know? Well, my glasses, since they're the blue light things, everything outside has like, like, it's not like noticeable just wearing my glasses, but when I like move them down and look up, I'm like, wait, there's a green tint on everything. Not washed out. I mean, it's not like even a big deal, but it's just like slightly different color. Because it's filtering out the blue light. I mean, here I could illustrate this perfectly. Look. So you're driving, right? And then this is what it looks like normally, and with my glasses on, it looks like this. instead of this. Like it's like ever so slightly greenish. It's not the same, your monitor just sucks. Or your phone. But that's my point. Like it's not something that's super noticeable. Like it's only noticeable when I'm going like this to look at the difference. When I'm like looking outside. That's exactly my point. Not really noticeable until I like move my glasses up and down, but dude, fuck you guys. I don't remember what it was. Like, there was some line in the character model or something, and chat was trying to gaslight me, telling me it was something else. Fuck you. It was so obviously there. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like a line on Templar or something. And chat was gaslighting me, saying it wasn't real. Gotta be zoned in on the bosses. If I tank that rock, I'm dead. Actually, I don't know if I would. I wonder if that rock converts to chaos at all with that guy. Did I fix the monitor? No. I think the monitor is borked. Gonna have to. Well, I haven't tried a different wire yet. I don't think it'll. I don't think that'll fix it though. But I still need to try a different connector. But I'm pretty sure one of the black lights just went out. Lines in it? Oh, I fixed the line thing. I fixed that. Seepage. Dude, the old display ports connector fucking sucks. The one they have to press down on, those are bitches. Thankfully now you just plug them in. I think we should go back to composite connectors. I think that's what they're called. The red, green, and white one. No, the red, yellow, and white ones. Let's go back to those. I liked how you could like kind of unplug one and make it look funny. And then push on your eyes and it looks really funny. I kind of want to do that Ember Fusillade build that Jung has. Do monitors will just plug into the computer? PCI monitor. The C in RCA stands for composite, right? No. Radio Corporation of America. Wait, no. It is, well, I know, I knew it, it is. It is, or it's, yeah, it's one of the cables. Aha! The yellow one is composite video. There we go. I knew it. I knew I wasn't crazy. Yeah, there are some crazy short cables. Dude, you know what pisses me off? Some, like, power supply cables are, like, fucking this long, dude. Like as in the one that goes into your wall. Not in the, well, in the computer they are, but that makes more sense. The one that goes into the wall, not like in the computer. Alright, I know how they can make PoE 2 better. They add spell suppression back in. I don't play any Street Fighter. I've been getting weird FPS drops last few days. And by FPS drops, I mean like it goes to like 90, but I don't know. I didn't have that before. So like it was like the last patch. Before the last patch, I never dropped below 144. Yeah, you're not even using. You're playing on a fucking calculator, Dr. Chem. I like how in the early days of League, when you could like everybody had their own loading bar, and it showed how much they were like loaded in the game. And then there was always one person that it just took forever, and everybody just flamed them in chat. Like, nice Steam-powered computer, dude. And then I remember I would like, if I was jungle, I would specifically gank the like it also sort of showed your ping. So I'd look at who loaded the slowest and who had the worst ping, and I would like actively target that person. Low loader. Yeah, this. Yeah, you could see their ping, and look, see that guy? They have bad ping, you would just focus those people. Oh, music? No music. Holy shit, the monitor, dude. The speakers!
What? Saying
Hold on. I just have to mute the VOD track. Okay, actually, I will say I liked the long loading screens in League. I was disappointed when loadings got really fast. Dude, early days of League was always like a minimum of 10 minutes. It was sick. You could go like go to the bathroom, maybe do a chore or two. You can go do something. Now it's too fast. See? He's gonna go do a chore or something. He's gonna change his laundry. Or he's getting coal for his coal-powered computer. Yeah, this is techless. This is actually techless firing up the generator. This is literally techless. That was pretty good. What was my League main? I mained top, and then I mained ADC, and then I quit. That was a good video. Occasionally a TF here. Yeah, you're lucky, Alluvium. It's ARO. Korean Ragnarok online. Is Ragnarok worth trying? Like, if I log into a private server, would it be fun? I've never played it. No, Dr. Come. I mean, Vindictus was pretty close. Glorious visuals. Indeed. Indeed. I don't know, Carrick. Maybe not. Yeah, but I don't even know what I'd want a variety game right now. A world. I don't know. No, I don't like Metroidvanias. Some free games from Twitch? Does Twitch have that now? Wait, isn't that the Amazon Prime games or something? Well, I don't know. It's a big monkey. Weed Shop 3. Oh, maybe the Pokemon card shop. On the Invoker. Yeah, maybe I'll just play like Victor Brand for a week so I come play this game and it feels amazing. No, I don't. I think I played Victor Brand for like 5 minutes. I don't think I even made it that far. No, no. I simultaneously like and don't like Grim Dawn. By the time I'm at the end of the campaign, I'm like, alright, I've had enough. I can't do this the second time. No, I never played Subnautica. Maybe that's what I could do, hardcore Subnautica. Even though a death trap is.
You've got mail.
PoE1 aware.
Hey, thanks for the 16-year resub, Bonesy. PoE1. Yeah, I played Balloons a little bit on stream too. I don't know. Next year probably for Bean Pub. I kind of have the urge to try a Champions of Norath or Return to Arms again. I don't know. It's so jarring to play some modern ARPGs. It's just so jarring. I never played Dark Alliance. Is it worse? When's the new Doom? That's not till like April. Movement speed, big, 30%. Where is it? I can't believe it's already been 2 months since Period 2 released. I guess I could just play PoE 1. Play the game video? I mean, when there's something new, then yeah. Yeah, maybe I could play Hero Siege. Someone said that it got nerfed a lot for the like on-death effects and shit, so maybe. I don't know, maybe I'll start to do the campaign runs. Do a campaign run swap game every day.
You've got mail.
Thanks for the Prime label. What about Hello Kitty 3 Island Adventure? Some bad RPGs. Wait, is D3 tomorrow? Oh shit, maybe I play that. That could be it. That could be it. You might be the saving grace. It's D3 tomorrow? Oh shit. Okay. Okay. 8 p.m. EST? Are they fucking stupid? Why is it so late? Why are they so stupid? I could play Drug Dealer Simulator 2 and ask people why they smoke cigarettes instead of crack. Wait a minute, what? This is crazy. Online, they're playing online darts? I didn't know you could do that. That's crazy. That's nuts, dude. Alright. Time to go. I'm out of here. Tomorrow will be better for sure. Tomorrow I will have more stuff to do. I don't know, I'm gonna go make videos or something.